I could make this video basically be a list about Animal Crossing coffee, going over one detail after another, but when the Animal Crossing wiki exists, why make a list? So instead of doing that, let me tell you a story about a history of Animal Crossing coffee. It all started this morning. A rainy morning. When I woke up, some weirdo named Lyle harassed me. He wanted me to sign an insurance deal. I told him I didn't have the money. He started shouting. He seems unstable. My worst morning so far, but I did just move here. It's not that bad. And now that I think of it, I'm glad it's raining. Tom Nook still doesn't have a watering can. Now the flowers won't die. After the Lyle incident though, I went about my day like any other. Said hi to a friend, caught a bug, and dug up a few fossils. This is where I crossed paths with Brewster. I didn't mean to get coffee that day. I didn't even know the museum had a cafe. I only came here to ask Blathers about the fossils I found. But before I left, I smelled freshly brewed coffee. At first, I didn't notice Brewster. He's a quiet fellow. What I did notice was the room. It's kinda small and cramped. A coffee bar on the right side and maybe 3 feet to the left, a platform. I wonder what it's used for. No one was here except for me and Brewster. He told me to take a seat. I didn't actually want to, but saying that now would be awkward. One, please. I've never seen a square cup before. Weird. And even weirder, the coffee only started to steam when he handed it to me. Looks fishy. But it smells like coffee. Ugh, it's bitter. Guess that's what happens when you don't add milk or sugar. But it's oddly tasty. I think I'll come back tomorrow. It's pretty good. For the next 4 or 5 days, I went to the cafe. I tried to talk with Brewster, but let's just say he's not as chatty as my neighbors. But I kept going back for the coffee. Sitting down for a second, just me, a pigeon, and a cup of joe. It's nice. Some days it tastes better than others, and sometimes I burn my tongue. But when Brewster slides that cup across the table, how could anyone refuse? I can't. I can't, I'm trapped. I'm stuck here. Help, help! And when you take a drink, you get to appreciate the wonderfully flavorful taste. Then, carry on with your day. Which reminds me, yesterday I finally bought a watering can from Nook, and I haven't watered the flowers today. I should do that. Three weeks have passed since I first met Brewster. We get along now. He's opened up so much since I first met him. He loves that I drink coffee like him. One piping hot cup at a time. I knew we were on good terms when he told me he's recently taken up a hobby that isn't related to coffee. Collecting gyroids. Although Brewster wants me to find and give him the gyroids, he must have taken some notes from Blathers upstairs. In other news, other villagers also show up at the cafe now. Before, only a few came in. Rossetti, the bird from the mail department, those kind of people. But now everyone comes here. I guess I wasn't the only one who thought it was too small. Really glad they went through with the renovations. They didn't change the decor much, but it's comfy now. A bit more space and new furniture. Although the villagers might hang out at the cafe now that Brewster's better at making coffee. It's less bitter, and he removed the artificial steam he was using before. Copper was onto him. Also, I convinced him to use normal-shaped cups. That might have helped. Whatever made the villagers start drinking Java, I'm glad they are. Because as much as I love coffee, Brewster and Lyle don't make for the best company. I'd definitely stop by and say hi, maybe give Brewster a gyroid or two, but I might stop because, honestly, I have lousy taste buds. To me, personally, the coffee only tastes like delicious flavor text. But thanks to the villagers, I have another reason to be here, to enjoy the company. When I go to the cafe now, I usually hang out with whoever is there, or at least say hello. And I think the villagers keep coming back for the same reasons I do, to sit back, relax, have a coffee, and enjoy time among friends. Yeah, I'll see you later. It's been a while since last time. Lots of things have changed. For one, I've gotten pretty good at growing flowers. Lots of rare colored ones, too. And Brewster cooled off his passion for collecting gyroids. He still cares about them, but now he doesn't ask me to grab them anymore. He just has his own personal collection. And thanks to everyone going to the cafe, Brewster decided to leave the museum basement and set up a dedicated coffee shop in the village. I'm not sure how he managed after all this time, but he still keeps the cafe open 24 hours a day. I love the new cafe. It's a warmer space than before, and it has a cozy cafe aesthetic. That's what it's going for. Why else would this table have a sugar and cinnamon shaker? I don't think I'd want to go back to the old cafe after this. And now that KK Slider doesn't perform at the cafe anymore, there's only one reason to be here. The coffee. This must have encouraged Brewster to get serious about brewing the best coffee he can. He's gotten really good. And since everyone has different preferences when it comes to taste, Brewster ditched his one-size-fits-all approach. He started to use different blends and different amounts of milk and sugar. I never imagined that was possible. It took him a while, but yeah, he doesn't just pour coffee into a cup. Also, his coffee has never looked better. Look at that. I can almost taste it. Brewster finally accepts that different people drink in different ways. It's too hot. Baby. After all we've gone through together, after all of these items he gave me, after he gave me a job, it was kind of lame, honestly. I mean, customers pour in like they're on an assembly line. That shouldn't happen. And Brewster only pays in coffee beans. I don't know how to make coffee. Even this coffee maker he gave me can't make coffee. So, all I can do is sell the beans. Even after that one time on Valentine's Day where he gave me hot chocolate. After all this, he still doesn't want me to cool down my coffee. I wonder if he only cares about me because I like coffee. The next day, I was still a little upset that Brewster didn't want me to cool off my coffee. Luckily, I saved a coffee for a rainy day. It's takeout, by the way. But it doesn't taste right. Still, I did my normal coffee routine. I said hi to a villager, I had a coffee, and I was sitting down. But something's off. It's too cold. I get it now. Brewster was just doing what he always does. Telling people to drink their coffee hot. It's part of who he is. After all the things that have changed since I first met him, he's still the same Brewster. He still wants you to drink your coffee while it's hot. He's a little more mild about it, but deep down, some things never change. I should go to the Roost. It's the only place that serves good coffee. Because coffee by itself is only as good as eating a piece of fruit. Tasty, that's all. But what makes coffee different is everything that surrounds it. Music, friends, and a cup of piping hot joe. And that's a history of Animal Crossing coffee. Brewster also shows up in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, but I couldn't record that even if I wanted to. And a spin-off game wouldn't fit with the rest of this video anyway. Also, I didn't mention it in my story, but in Wild World and City Folk, if you become Brewster's friend, he'll occasionally offer you some pigeon milk with your coffee. And the reason I left out New Horizons is because I don't own a Switch. Right, that's all. Thanks for watching.